Hello everyone, this is Scarzig, and welcome back to another episode of Duelyst. Today we're going to be playing some Lilithe, and I'm pretty sure I say this every time I record an Abyssian video. It is my least played faction, but we did some really hard grinding on stream the other day. I did a few days worth of testing, even enough to finally get an Abyssian ribbon. So I played a ton of games, trying out a bunch of different stuff with Lilithe, mainly in the control area. Like, I did some fun swarm stuff, but you know, that's just standard memes. But I wanted to do something around late game. I was trying to experiment with Variax, and the deck ended up just being way too slow. Unless you go all in on the Variax combo to like ramp it out with Darkfire Sacrifice the old school way, that was nerfed. That win condition ends up being a little bit too slow. So I ended up throwing just a bunch of stuff to delay the game as much as possible, and that still wasn't working. And so then that mutated further into, let's just run a bunch of really good stuff, and then Variax at the top of the curve. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at the list. We've got 3 Healing Mystic, 3 Ooze. Of course, these are just great early game minions. We've got Primus Fist in the list as well. You can see with the Sojourners there. Primus Fist is going to allow your Sojourner or like a Wraithling or something to trade up, which is nice. You can use it to buff the Vorpal Reaver to get even more burst damage, something like that. I was thinking about, instead of Primus Fist, maybe running Blood Siren, whose effect to give an enemy -2 attack kind of plays in that same space, and it lets you get like free hits off with your Spectral Blade and stuff like that. But the fact that Primus Fist allows you to trade up rather than just preserving one of your own minions, I think is a lot better, especially again just with like the burst potential using things that you have on the board, because Blood Siren is a bit narrow and it becomes a lot worse as the game goes on, and Primus Fist is just great pretty much throughout the entire game, and you know, it's just a better early drop as a 2/3 in my opinion rather than a 3/2, because it can potentially hit something and live. But anyway, we've got 2 Sojourners for card draw, 2 Deal Toss, 2 Lightbenders, 2 Primus Shield Masters. Now, you know me, I always have this sort of... I don't really know how to feel about Deal Toss or Primus Shield Master. Like, they're both provoke minions that hit on 4. Primus Shield Master is a bit more immediate, right? When you need that provoke right away, Deal Toss is a bit more offensive, and the provoke is delayed. So I put 2 of each, just so I kind of have the option to choose. And it's been working out for me, because the Deal Toss is going to give you the same amount of provokes in the long run, right? If you do prefer one or the other, you can, of course, just cut the Primus Shield Master, put in that 3rd Deal Toss, or is it Duelyst? Nobody knows how it's pronounced. And then put in another copy of your favorite card, maybe another Primus Fist. We've got 2 Black Solace in the deck, which is really interesting to me. This is something that I kind of just threw in the deck on a whim, because that 5 mana slot used to be taken up by Dancing Blades, right? I wanted another comeback card, something else to keep the board even, to even up on tempo. And I found, oddly enough, I wasn't really able to hit a lot of really good targets with Dancing Blades. And so I was like losing out on the opening gambit and just having to play it on the board as a 4/6. And that's still decent, right? Like, you aren't getting maximum value, but playing a 4/6 is still really good. And I figured that, you know, why not just play a 4/7 instead? And if I happen to be on 6 mana, where normally that mana might go wasted if I just play a Dancing Blades on that turn, or if I play Black Solace on 5 and then I can step onto a Mana Spring and go up to 6 and then summon 2 Wraithlings, then suddenly it's an 8/7, you know? So it becomes another big threat that your opponent needs to answer, and it has won me games by sucking up my opponent's removal. It is a really big threat, and it's a little bit hilarious, and I kind of like the way that it's working out for me currently. I already mentioned the Vorpal Reavers, and we've got 2 Spectral Revenants with Variax at the top. You can obviously cut Variax for a 3rd Spectral Revenant. Your deck is probably going to become instantly like 2 times better just by making that one change. And to go over the spells, we've got 2 Darkfire Sacrifice. Again, if that's probably the third card you would put in if you wanted 3 Primus Shield Masters or 3 Deal Toss instead. You can put in that third Darkfire Sacrifice. I mean, it's just solid overall for ramping out your big minions. I've had plays where you ramp out a Variax, and then you're able to start shadow spawning a lot earlier for those big Wraithlings. We've got 3 Sphere of Darkness, of course, for card draw, 3 Demonic Lore for removal, 2 Ritual Banishing. And this is where things get kind of interesting with the deck. I've got a lot of one-of spells here just because they're really interesting. Shadow Reflection, combos with Vorpal Reaver for pretty much an OTK situation. Or, you know, you can buff a Wraithling or some other low drop that happens to sneak in to get some burst damage or to trade up into something that's threatening your face. Breath of the Unborn works a lot better in this list because we're running, you know, more tanky minions that have more HP. You don't really have to worry about Wraithlings. So getting that AoE when we need it, or being able to make trades and then AoE so that it finishes off whatever we weakened and heals our minions, is a game-winning play for sure. We've got Necrotic Sphere, just in case we have to take out a big minion and there's no other way to do it. It's important to remember that Necrotic Sphere does affect friendly and enemy minions. But I've used this before just to take out one key target before and use that tempo to win the game. And then we've got Rite of the Undervault as well, just for card draw in case we completely run out of steam. And you'll notice with this deck too, you'll notice with this list that we have potential to go like double 2-drop into removal plus, you know, another card. Or we just don't draw any of our card draw, right? Where the Sojourners and the Sphere of Darkness are on the bottom of the deck. So the Rite of the Undervault can really come through for us to, you know, just to reload. And oftentimes, when you get a Rite of the Undervault off, you draw like 4 or 5 cards. That card advantage just wins you the game in the long run. Okay, so right off the bat, the Primus Shield Master is great, so is Demonic Lore. The Darkfire Sacrifice has a lot of potential as well. So I'm going to chuck these two. Try and look for some early drops. Oh god, that's no good. That's really no good. Now, going up against Riva, my opponent can, you know, just play like Guitar or something turn 1. I haven't really seen a lot of Kaido Assassins lately in Riva. Cryptographer would be really obnoxious here. Just going to go for the Artifact. And Blood Rage Mask is fine, honestly. Crescent Sphere, in my opinion, is Crescent Spear, not Sphere. Crescent Spear, in my opinion, is a lot harder to deal with because they equip Crescent Spear turn 1, and then turn 2, you develop something, and then it gets eaten by a Phoenix Fire that's stronger than normal. If you go double 2-drop, you're playing directly into a buffed Twin Strike, which has lost me games before. So Blood Rage Mask, I'm looking just to just kill here. Ooh, okay. I like this. So he's going aggressive here. And so that buffs the Chakri Avatar up to a 4/5. Alrighty, so this is pretty problematic for us because we don't really have the means to kill this Chakri Avatar. He has put a lot of resources into that, however. So what I think I want to do, because if he like killing edges or something, oh my god, that's going to be devastating. But what we can do is start taking a charge off of this artifact. We can prime a Shield Master on this space, and that makes it so she can't move, and the Chakri Avatar potentially can't reach us unless she has another spell. Next turn, we can hopefully take this mana, Shadow Spawn, Darkfire Sacrifice into Revenant to kill the Avatar, or maybe go face. We'll see how that works out. We kind of want to keep the Demonic Lures to deal with Heartseekers, though. So I think I'd have to just keep this. The Lightbender's good to see. So we'll see what my opponent does. He just used a Mist Dragon Seal. Less likely that he has another one. So, I mean, he could easily just Misdragon Seal again onto the Chakri Avatar. And that would just be, you know, the crazy variance of him having me not having a turn 1 play going second into crazy spell buffs on the Avatar. Yeah, so Cobra Strike with the Blood Rage Mask is problematic. But with Crescent Spear not equipped, you know, that's only going to do 3. So he's already got me pretty low, but he's low on cards too. So I just need to kill this and I win. I can actually do the play I was talking about where I Shadow Spawn Darkfire Sacrifice into a Spectral Revenant. And then with the Primus Shield Master and the Revenant proc, that breaks the artifact. And then I think we just come back from here. Let's go. And then we are going to hit here. Ghost Lightning screws us over. But we do have the Demonic Lures to come back into the game to like deal with a Heartseeker that she's going to develop next turn. We do have Lightbender. So we just need to keep up the train of, you know, just getting these minions on the board. And, you know, seeing the Blood Rage Mask and knowing that it's Reva, of course, the Ghost Lightning is a bit more likely. But that's a card that kind of just comes and goes with the meta. And it's really based on, I would say, the deck builder's taste. So here he's trying to tempo out. Another Cobra Strike to clear the Spectral Revenant. Getting more face damage in. And then into the Arcane Heart. So I have Demonic Lore for that. Potentially Shadow Reflection as well onto the Wraithling for a 6 damage burst. There's Variax. Now, I could potentially just take things slow here. Where I go Lightbender, Demonic Lure. But if he gets a third Cobra Strike or a Phoenix Fire, then that really screws me over. But then again, summoning the Lightbender makes it so that it gives him a different target to hit with a Phoenix Fire potentially. So we'll just move like this. He has access to Heartseekers next turn. So we'll move the Wraithling up and then just Lightbender here. So we get another body on the board. And this Wraithling, I probably should have moved it up here actually. What he gets to do now is step up here and Heartseeker on this space. But he's not going to move. So I think that tells me that he has a Phoenix Fire for this. Oh man, he's got the Inner Focus. Dash it all. So he's slowly burning me out, but he's out of fuel. Yeah, so right here we're seeing that Grandmaster Variax word, a Spectral Revenant would be a lot better for us. There's Primus Fist. Damn it. Like, I have to kill the Katara, but I also have to kill the Heartseeker. I can step into the corner to play around the Katara, but if his last card is Killing Edge, that's really going to screw me over. Like, I can step into the corner, then Vorpal Reaver, and then Shadow Spawn. But then all he needs is Killing Edge as his last card, and then I won't be able to close the distance in time. But I can't risk the backstab either. Oh god, this feels like a really bad play, but I'm playing around the backstab here. But Killing Edge on the Katara, and then Heartseeker killing a Wraithling, that's 5-6 damage because of the Blood Rage Mask. And that leaves me with 3. But having the Vorpal Reaver on like this means that if he steps the Katara around to hit me, the Vorpal Reaver starts threatening him. Yeah, so it looks like his last card is Killing Edge. And he needs to make this play. He needs to make this play because it draws him an extra card at the end of the turn. And he's going to take out the Vorpal Reaver rather than going face. So this trades, which is nice. And I get Wraithlings all over the place. And so now we've got the Shadow Reflection, which is +5. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 11, 12 with the Primus Fist. Yes! Let's go. Did I do my math correctly? No Deathfire Crescendo required. Whoo, boy! Vorpal Reaver ended up being the correct play there. Because I honestly thought he was going to go face. That's what I really thought. Is that he was just going to go face. And set me up to die. But we got the Wraithlings in the right places. Holy crap. I think... Thinking back on it, I think that him going face was absolutely the correct play there, because there was no way that the Vorpal Reaver would have been able to reach him because he stepped 2 to the left. If I was able to heal or something, up from 3 HP, then sure, he would have been in trouble with so few cards in hand. But yeah, I think that going face was correct there rather than trading into the Vorpal Reaver. But there you go. Anyway, we're on to our next match versus Casva, and that was pretty wild too, because we were struggling there in the late game. Note to self, if you're watching this, don't be like me. Don't put Variax in the deck. Put in that third Spectral Revenant, because Spectral Revenant is broken. I think that we can get away with holding this, because we have Ooze into Sojourner, into removal, into other things. I think that we can get away with holding the Spectral Revenant. Although, I could just replace this now. I'd like to see maybe a Prime and Shield Master or a Deal Toss instead. So that's probably better to have something more concrete for the mid-game. Sphere of Darkness. Yes, yes. So, we do the classic play, pressuring mid with Ooze. And what this does, your opponent steps up to avoid the Ooze, plays something to go into the top, then Ooze moves onto this diagonal to move towards their minion that they summon. And then that gives me the potential to just move into the center of the board, access to both mana tiles, yada yada. And if he does... Oh, it looks like he is going to summon something on the center. Maybe he has an Ooze of his own. He's thinking about maybe trading. If he summons something with... Oh my god, he's just going to put a Mystic down. Okay. And so I can Healing Mystic to heal my Ooze. And so then it just keeps running through his minions and getting more procs, which is a play I've done many times in the past, and it's fantastic. Amazing. Yeah, because then we can Healing Mystic on this diagonal, and then Sphere of Darkness on this bottom mana tile, so he can't take it. Seeing as he has Lurking Fear, I know he'll probably be summoning a Deal Toss or something here soon, so the Lightbender is really good to see. So how do I want to do this? I guess I just step like this. Body block this top mana. And I could just kill this mana. Or play it here to discourage him from moving there at all. Or I could just play it underneath him. He Lurking Feared, so I think it's better for me to deny the ramp. Spectral Revenant. I'm going to keep the Spectral Revenant because the Lightbender is such a likely play here on 4 mana. Because if he summons a Deal Toss, he'll actually place it in a way that it trades into the Ooze, I think. And then he gets the Tombstone, which we can just beat to death. We can probably just ignore the Tombstone. And then wait on it. Save it for Spectral Revenant feed. Ooh, 9 Moons. Beautiful. All right, so we can go up to 5 mana. So we theoretically can Lightbender the Reaper of the 9 Moons if our Shadow Spawn hits right here. Yes! Sugoi. Dispelling Reaper of the 9 Moons is so good. Because your opponent invests a lot into that ability. And even though he got it reduced with Lurking Fear, this tempo is really going to work out for us. I'd really like to see Darkfire Sacrifice. I think I replace Primus Fist or Sojourner. Then again, Primus Fist Sojourner could be our 5 mana play. Rather than going for the greedy Darkfire Sacrifice play into Spectral Revenant. Although that would be like ridiculously strong. I think he's going to make this trade. And whatever else he develops, is the Ooze is still threatening it. Sunset Paragon. Ooh, very nice. Very nice. So then Reaper of the 9 Moons gets to hit face. And he's going to hit me here. Lurking Fear decks have really strong mid-game plays, but they tend to run out of steam very quickly. So we can trade here, which is nice. We don't have to take that extra damage. And then we can do, Sojourner Primus Fist. We are going to take some damage here by clearing the Sunset Paragon, but this is the way things need to be. Ooh, you know, I'm thinking that, that the Necrotic Sphere is kind of spooky here on 6. I think that if you're playing a deck like this, running Necrotic Sphere for a comeback mechanism would actually be really, really strong. So I think that we are going to hold back a little bit on our minions. And I'm going to replace the Demonic Lore, actually. Yeah. So we'll be on 6 mana. I would replace the Demonic Lore because we have the Ritual Banishing for removal. I think that'll be a little bit better for us. Okay, Sphere of Darkness to draw a card. Overwrites one of my creep tiles, although I don't care about that. He's got the Abyssal Scar there. Would Necrotic Sphere have been that bad? Maybe. At the very least, they get to keep the Sojourner alive. in the background so that I can, you know, hit something and get some value. Now that I'm thinking a little bit more about the matchup, I probably want to hold Ritual Banishing for Spectral Revenant, just so I don't have to trade into it too many times. So we've got Vorpal Reaver, and he would need like Dark Transformation to kill it. Oh man. This is so tricky for me, right? Because if I were to replace in a Darkfire Sacrifice right now, I could get 10 damage with the Spectral Revenant. But Vorpal Reaver is such a solid play here. I suppose I could also Sphere of Darkness. But if I don't get Darkfire Sacrifice, then I can't play Vorpal Reaver or Spectral Revenant. I think that I can just get away with Vorpal Reaver this turn, regardless. Just because you plop it down and your opponent needs to answer it or they take 12 damage, and then I just have Spectral Revenant next turn. So I think that Vorpal Reaver is going to be the play, just thinking about how I want to position all this. We'll do this, since Primus Fist dies to the Ooze anyway. We'll move down, move like this, play Vorpal Reaver here. Now he's really going to need the Necrotic Sphere or Dark Transformation. And if he does Necrotic Sphere, then so be it. I've got Spectral Revenant to feed on the Wraithlings. And I've got Shadow Reflection to go with the Vorpal Reaver. Dear God. I love that card as a one-of. I think I ran this exact setup in one of my old Lilith lists, except I think I was running 2 Shadow Reflection. But you saw how it stole me that win in the other game. Overwriting another one of my creep tiles, very nice. He's trying to draw, he's looking for answers. He does still have enough mana for Necrotic Sphere. He draws and then replaces. So that lets me know that his hand is actually really good. He was reluctant to replace. So if that's the case, in a Lurking Fear deck, what's at the top? What's at the top of the Lurking Fear deck? Dispel, Abyssal Scar, Punish. Beauty. Nice. So he used a lot of resources to sidestep the Vorpal Reaver and its Dying Wish. So now we've got Spectral Revenant. Oops, did I? Was that? Oh my god, I thought that was a friendly Shadow Creep tile. Or did he cast that underneath me? Anyway, that's irrelevant. I took a point of damage that I didn't need to. So here we can Spectral Revenant the Ephemeral Shroud to deal 4 damage. And then the Ooze hits and deals 8 damage. We can also draw a card. Cool. And the Spectral Revenant, of course, is just a solid play overall. The other Vorpal Reaver seems kind of overkill. But I think we can throw the Shadow Reflection. Oh yeah, there's the second second Spectral Revenant. Yeah, because he's gonna take 4 more damage and drop down to 5. So there's really no reason for me to get risky here. Just keep my distance. Lovely. Now the Shadow Creep tile is underneath me. He's on 8. So if he obliterates here, it'll deal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 damage. So not going to do much to me here. And of course, Lurking Fear doesn't run obliterate, right? He's got 3 cards in hand. He could have his own Spectral Revenants. Okay, Demonic Lore is cool. I don't think he can... he doesn't want to hit that, the Sojourner. Wow. Okay. But yeah. Well played. Lurking Fear is, one of those decks that can do some really hilarious things, but you have to draw perfectly. So that's the Lilith list. Run 3 Spectral Revenants, and they just let you close out the late game. But yeah, pretty honestly, it took me a while to arrive to this conclusion, but this is, for all intents and purposes, a pretty standard list, right? You could probably run Cassava instead of Lilith if you like the ping. I just like Lilith because it allows you to use Darkfire Sacrifice and Ritual Banishing a little easier, which I think are really, really strong Abyssian spells. But at any rate, that is Abyssian gameplay. I will see you all after the expansion drops. Let's get hyped for that, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one.